gang, Hannah here, and Bella is in the corner. She's going to be observing this practice. So this practice today is going to be roughly 15 to 20 minutes, just depending on how long each hold really feels to me, basically. But it's going to be a hip opener practice. So if you have chronic tight hips, if you find yourself sitting a lot or commuting to and from work, maybe you exercise a lot and just feel a lot of tension in your low back and your hips, and this is going to be for you. So it's basically for anyone, if you're human. You don't really need anything. If you want to grab a pillow off your couch, or if you want to grab a strap or a belt or something for any sort of like leg extensions, it's totally up to you, but you should just be fine doing this on the ground or on your bed or wherever you are. So let's get started on your back. Come to lie back, and for the first few moments, let's keep your feet as wide as the width of your mat. And then let your knees sort of knock in together. You can only bring them as close as it feels good, and then open your arms out wide. Press gently into the back of your head and roll your shoulders onto your back, and then just really settle everything back down and really feeling that tailbone lengthening down. Just let everything get to neutral. And your palms face up, almost like you're rolling your thumbs back towards the ground above your head. Relax your eyes, your teeth, your tongue. And just take some big belly breaths. So feeling that inhale into your ribs, your belly, and your chest. Really feeling it into your low back. Maybe the first few exhales are out of your mouth if you feel a lot of tension there in your face. So one of my favorite ways to really work into low back and hips is to really think about the support of the ground. So as you breathe, feel yourself expanding into the floor. And as you exhale, feel your bones just get heavier into your mat and into the ground. So we're learning to work with gravity, learning to work with what we have and what we got. Not worrying about trying to force your way in and out of these poses, but just noticing sort of what shows up for you in each posture and each shape, and as we start to change shapes and shift around. Maybe you give that breath a little bit more depth, a little bit more sound. Good, and then very slowly, just letting the eyes stay closed, you're going to knock your knees over to the right side. And then slowly, as you breathe in, you're going to draw them back up through center, really pressing down into that outside glute. So this, in this case, the right side. And then draw it back up and then over to your left. And move really slow, like gravity and the weight of the knees just making this happen. And then start by drawing up that left knee towards center first. Again, pressing that glute into the ground, get a little glute massage, and then draw both knees up. And again, over to the right. And again, start pendulum them back up with the right knee first. Press into that glute. Nice and sweet. And just gently side to side. You can take this as slow as you'd like. If you'd like to really massage out that glute, again, lift that outside knee up first. Press that glute down and sort of roll a little side to side on it. So there's not any right or wrong way to move here. You're just allowing yourself to wake things up. And when you're ready, come back towards center. You're going to stretch your arms out and legs out long. Reach the fingers and toes away from each other. Draw the knees in. And I want you to reach through the insides of your legs. Catch the tops of your shins, ankles, or knees. And just let the legs splay out with the weight of the hands on the inner thighs. Let the toes relax. You can draw a few circles in your ankles and point and flex if that feels good. And then again, let everything find neutral. So feel that low back sinking down into the ground with the shoulder blades relaxed. Take a few deep rounds of breath. When you're ready, gently reach through the outsides of the knees, draw them in. We're going to start to rock up and down your spine. So give yourself a few good rocks and rolls. Good, all the way till you come towards a comfortable seat. So for this next variation on a pigeon pose, this is going to feel really good if pigeon sometimes just feels like a little too much, or if you have some knee issues, this will feel great. So you're going to bring your left shin in front. You're going to take your right leg and you're gently going to swing it back just enough that it stays bent. So maybe this right thigh is almost towards that left sole of your foot. That right foot's just kind of cocked off to the side. You might even keep it flexed to protect this knee. You're going to bring your fingertips out in front of this left shin, and the more parallel this shin is to the front edge of your mat, or whichever way you're facing, whichever way is more perpendicular, you're going to sit nice and tall, and that's going to be a little bit more challenging the more in line it is with the top edge of the mat. If you want less, draw it back. So again, lengthen the spine, feel the tailbone sink, and then you're slowly going to start to fold forward. And this is where maybe a book or pillow or a block, if you have one at home, or bolster or whatever it is, just some sort of support might feel good under your forehead. If you want to be propped up on your forearms, that's great. But think about sending that tailbone back. Let the chest keep reaching towards the thumbs, and just let everything sort of sink into that left hip. If you feel pretty good just kind of moving right into pigeon and you want to extend this right leg all the way back, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Just do so carefully and mindfully. Not because you feel like you have to, but because it just feels right to you. So we're going to hold these poses for a little while longer than maybe you're used to. So maybe more of like a yin inspired practice, but not really for as long as a typical yin practice, which is like 3 to 5 minutes. So we'll just hold for a few more deep rounds of breath. Take one more full breath in through your nose and out of your mouth. And gently come back up on the straight arms if you bent your elbows at all. You're going to slowly walk back. And you're going to take this right leg and we're slowly going to swing it over and across the left. And then you're going to take your left leg and extend it out so both sit bones can find the ground. So your right ankle, again, is crossed over your left thigh. Your left foot is gently flexed. You're going to bring your right hand behind you and then hook your left elbow towards your right thigh. So you're gently going to squeeze it in as you sit nice and tall. Keep that left hip crease drawing back and then gently look back over your right shoulder. Good. So feel your shoulder blades soften here. And again, breathe circumferentially through your torso. So that full length of your spine into your belly. So the inhale is giving you sort of expansion, like a massage of your organs. And the exhale is just helping you just to move a little deeper and soften into that space. Good. You're going to look forward, slowly release. Just take your hands to the other side. Take a little bow and take a big breath in between your shoulders. Good. And then gently come back up. You're going to bring your hands behind you and you're just going to let this right knee knock off to the side. That ankle's going to be crossed over your left thigh. You're going to lean back into your hands but keep your chest lifted and slowly bring this left foot to the ground. So the closer this left heel is in towards your glute, the more intense. So if you want, you can sort of walk the hips forward, walk the hands forward. But from wherever you are, whatever depth really suits you here, you're going to let your chest stay lifted as you press your tailbone down. And you're going to keep that bent knee, this top leg flexed, the toe flexed, and you're going to press that ankle into the thigh back into the ankle. Good. You start to feel this sort of active stretch in this right hip. You feel your shoulder blades relax on your back. Maybe let the eyes close. And sometimes here I like to find even the slightest bit of movement. So maybe you sort of rock your legs a little bit side to side, just kind of searching out what space you might have available. So especially on this side, I think like knocking over to my left, almost like that right foot's coming to the floor, is pretty intense. And if you want, you can even knock it all the way to the ground and sort of look over your right shoulder and then all the way back up and maybe over to the other side. Good. Take one more big round of breath. Bend your elbows, slide that left leg out, and then bring that right leg out. Good. So we're gonna move right to the other side of that sort of modified pigeon. So this time right leg is in front, the shin is again either parallel to the top edge of your mat or slide it back depending on what feels best. You're gonna lean into that right hip, bend the left knee, tuck that foot back behind you. And again, if that doesn't feel right to your knee, you can find full pigeon, but keep this left foot gently flexed. Lengthen up through the spine, let the tailbone sink back, and as you exhale, gently fold over this right leg. So you may notice that one side might be a little bit more intense than the other, and that's totally fine. Just know that the body might show up differently on each side, and it's just the way that it is. So instead of forcing your way deeper, maybe allow yourself to back off if it doesn't feel right, but just start to kind of create this gentle conversation with the sensations in your body. Let that tool of conversation be the breath, so really allowing the inhale to again kind of dig, like it's chiseling away at these spaces that are a little tough, maybe a little challenging. Let the exhale just kind of soothe you into that space. Again, really utilizing the ground beneath you, just imagining the support, so you're really just kind of melting yourself into it. Take a few more deep rounds of breath. Take one more full breath in through the nose. And big exhale out of the mouth. Come back up to straight arms. Okay, and this time you're going to lean into that right hip again. Gently swing the left leg over and across your right side. Extend the right leg out long. Okay, so again, left knee's in, right leg extended. Left hand behind you, right elbow crosses towards the outside of your left thigh. Again, squeeze them in, engage through your inner thighs so the tailbone roots, and then gently look over your left shoulder, reaching up through the crown of your head. Take a few deep rounds of breath. And again, don't force this twist, just let everything sort of soften into it. You're going to look forward first and then gently unwind. Take your hands to the opposite side, bow the chin. Good, feel that breath between your shoulder blades. And slowly come back up. Good, left leg knocks out to the side, crossing left ankle over right thigh. Hands come behind you. You're going to slide this right foot in again. Again, start fresh and notice what this side needs. If it needs to back off, do so. If you want more, you can either walk that heel in or scooch your glutes closer towards that right heel. Tailbone down, lengthen up through the chest. Feel the shoulder blades soften down the back. So again, we're just trying to find like this functional, neutral space. So maybe the way that you move throughout your day creates a lot of tension, and it's just up to us to sort of notice where that comes from, and to notice in our yoga practice maybe how we can kind of unravel those spaces and kind of start fresh. Just rebuilding a more stable ground for us to really move and function and breathe through. And again, you can find gentle movement here if you'd like, side to side. Again, keeping that tailbone down onto the ground, sit bones are both touching the mat. And And make your way back up. You're gonna bend your elbows again and extend that right leg out. Extend the left next to the right. Keep your knees softly bent. If you're here, that is perfect. Just go ahead and try to find your feet. So this is gonna be a nice little low back stretch, more so than a hamstring stretch. So that's why I want you to start maybe upright like this. Keep your long spine, and then slowly maybe you start to walk your heels forward. Again, knees can stay bent. Maybe you start to bow your head, reaching the crown of the head towards the toes. And as you spend more time here, if you want to keep walking the heels forward, you can. But think about the action of the inner thighs sort of rolling in and down towards the ground, almost like you're elongating out through the inner arches of your feet. We tend to want to splay out, and then that's where all this tension comes into our low back. So think about drawing in and reaching out and through. So this becomes more of like a lengthener through the low back, and a nice sort of stretch through that space. A few more deep rounds of breath. And slowly walk yourself back up. Slide the soles of the feet together and keep more of a diamond shape in the legs, so don't worry about drawing the ankles really in towards you. Knees again, just hang out with gravity. Maybe you grab onto your shins or your ankles or your feet. You're just gonna take a long spine as you breathe in, and as you exhale, you're gonna bow forward and start to release the crown of the head towards the soles of the feet. So again, maybe this depth doesn't look right to you and it feels more like this, and that is fine too. Just give yourself a little grace here. Just imagine that gravity has hold of the crown of your head, has hold of your tailbone, your knees, and you're just kind of hanging out here. You can even turn the palms up. So I find this really nice for my outer hips, my low back, my outer thighs, even your inner thighs as well, your inner knee. But again, if none of this, or if this doesn't feel right to you, or you need a little support, block or pillow right here under your head is nice. Even keeping your fingertips to the ground, maybe elbows are just sort of bent and resting on your legs and just hanging out here. If that feels like you're just kind of gently coercing yourself into it, that's good too. So just give yourself time to figure out what feels right. A couple more deep rounds of breath. Full breath in through the nose. Big breath out of the mouth. Walk the hands back towards you. Draw the knees in. Take your feet about hip distance apart. And again, hands behind you. You're just going to knock your knees side to side, just like you did in the beginning of class. Good. And then when you're ready, you're slowly going to make your way down onto your back. And just open the arms out wide. Keep your knees drawing in towards your chest and drop them over to the right side. And I like to scoot my hips just a tad to the left if that feels right to you. Just keep your low back happy. Maybe your right hand rests on the outside of your left thigh as you look over your left thumb. Good, and just let the thighs relax. Let the ground take hold, and just take as long as you need here. Just a few deep rounds of breath. So if you ever want, you can always pause this video and stay in any posture as long as it feels good, and then press play again when you're ready. You don't have to just hold for as long as I want to right now. And if in this pose you're also looking for more outer hip lengthening, you can take this top leg and extend it out. This is where that strap or that belt will come in handy. You can loop it around the ball of your foot, or even reach your right hand towards your left foot. Left hand maybe on that left hip crease, you can press it down and away, and imagine that you're trying to pull this outside edge of the foot up towards the sky. So you're really activating that outer hip a little bit. Keep the twist so the left shoulder is still to the ground. When you're ready, if that leg is extended, rebend. Open the arms out, bring the knees back up through center, scoot the hips to the right. Knees in towards the chest, drop them over to the left. And get yourself settled in here, shoulder blades to the ground. Again, that top leg can extend out if you'd like. You're taking your hand to the outside edge of that foot. That top hip, if you did that variation, might want to sort of scrunch up towards the ribs. Think about lengthening it down towards the bottom edge of your mat. Let that right shoulder stay grounded. Maybe rebend that knee. Draw the knees back up through center. Good. Find neutral on the back again. Just take a moment. Back in that same space that you started, feet wide, knees together. Open the arms out. Give yourself a few moments here to soak up all the work you just did. A moment to be held by the support of the ground beneath you. A moment to let go of anything that might have unraveled a little bit. So stuff that is no longer serving you, tension that no longer feels right in your body. Give yourself a moment to let it go and to start fresh when you're ready to move again. Stay here as long as it feels good to you. Thank you, gang, for joining me for this hip and low back opener. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, anything of the sort, just comment on the below on the YouTube video or send me a message, or you can also find me at wide-awakewellness.com. I hope you have a great day and that you feel lovely for the rest of your experiences today. Namaste.